Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Code Realized Guardian of Rebirth. And we're about to meet Dilly! Yay! Okay. At that moment, asinine humans, do not touch that with your filthy hands! As announced, I am gracing you with my presence to take back what is mine. Excited voices echo throughout the area. In reaction to the words take back, the waiting bounty hunters all leap into action and take up their weapons. Is that him? The thief, where is he? Over there, by the tent entrance. One man stands up and points behind us. There's a small figure standing in the dimly lit entrance to the tent. That's a child? Whoever it is strides forward without faltering and raises his voice once he reaches the very center of the tent. Stand aside, fools! I am here to reclaim that which is rightfully mine. He's a kid, right? Doesn't look like some master thief to me. At his comment, the others around him start buzzing, and soon the conversation shifts to laughter and ridicule. Hey kid, there's no place for someone like you. Go back home to your mommy. Oh, that's mean. His mommy's dead, man. Rough. A man twice the boy's size approaches him and tries to shoo him off. I am no mere child. I have come to take a treasure from you lowly humans. Didn't you get my letter? The boy shows no sign of backing down, however, and raises his voice even more. The men around them begin shouting insults as the man who had approached the boy. Hey now, how are you gonna handle the thief if you can't even get a little kid to go home? Idiot, he's talking circles around you. Shh, fine. Little boys who don't listen to their elders need to be punished, don't they? The man slowly raises his arm. Are you challenging me to battle? You're gonna regret this. You better watch your mouth. The boy is in danger. My feet start to move despite myself, but Van Helsing grabs my shoulder. Don't go over there. This is dangerous. But don't misunderstand me. It's the man who's in danger. What? I only took my eyes off them for a second, but the man is suddenly high in the air. A second later, he thuds to the ground. What the hell did you do? I just gave him a light tap with my fist. Now who else wants to fly? Who is that child? He's a vampire. What? Vampires, a subrace that possess extraordinary physical capabilities that other humans can never match. He's one? Hold on. He can't be that strong, even if the kid is some vampire. I could give you a detailed explanation, but we don't seem to have time for it. Just as Van Helsing says, the boy gracefully leaps up onto the stage while everyone around him stands dumbfounded. Hear me, humans! I am the king of the night, leader of the Nosferatu, and heir to the Delacroix name. I am Delacroix II. A vampire? A blood heir to Delacroix. He's here to get revenge on humanity. As soon as they hear his name, people in the crowd begin to scream. The audience panics and the people begin to flee and run about. Why is everyone so upset? It's true, the boy did show extraordinary strength, but the people here seem to be afraid of something else. Vampires have been the object of fear for a long time. A few years ago, humanity found a way to exterminate the vampires. Thus began the purge of the vampire subrace, known as the Vampire War. And even though the war is over, the people of Britain have always been living under the specter of fear. That if there are any surviving vampires, they would try to take revenge. That's the gist of it. Oh, this is the part. So, in the last part I was talking about, Impey looked all sad talking about the vampires, and it's actually this part. See, that's what I hate about the fact that, because I had gotten to this part in that recording that got deleted. I actually got a little bit further than what we did in the last part, obviously. And I remember this because it just seems so out of place. Like, we didn't know Impey was a vampire. I thought it happened earlier when Van Helsing was talking about, like, the hero of the vampire war or whatever, but it was this part. So that made no sense to anybody in that part. If it was like, I don't remember that. Here you go. Here it is. So it's this because blah blah blah, the vampires they'll be wiped out, blah blah blah. People hate vampires, and then Impey, then it's just this. He just looks sad, and like when you're watching it, when you're playing it the first time, and you know nothing about the characters, right, except for up to this point, it just seems like he's just like, man, that sucks, right? Like, but it's really, but knowing now what we know about him, it's really more like people hate me because I'm a vampire and I have to lie about it. And it's so much sadder. Oh my God. It's so much more heartbreaking now. You're like, poor Impey. He's not just being sensitive, for vampires. He's being sensitive because he is one and everybody hates him. Poor thing. Oh. Don't take the wrong idea. Don't think this means I'm going to sleep with you. I'm pats Impey delicately on arm. It's okay. It's okay, Impey. Arm's length. Impey, arm's length distance. Keep it away. Keep it over there, but they're there, Impey. Like, it's so sad. Look at his face. Look at the sadness in his eyes. He's like, oh, I don't want to tell anyone I'm a vampire. And like nobody else knows, man, except for us. As promised, I shall take this. He shouts at the top of his voice and tucks the pendant into his coat. He's got it. We just have to catch him, that's all. The men climb onto the stage and point their guns at the young boy. Don't move, kid. One step and you'll have more holes than Swiss cheese. Cheese. Really? Why don't you try? Aim for his legs. We'll split the prize money, got it? I hear gunshots. However, the boy does not look hurt. We definitely hit him. Why isn't he wounded? I know I'm reading their voices all totally different. I'm just throwing out random bounty hunter voices. I don't really give a crap. Doesn't matter. Idiots. I evaded the bullets, obviously. Don't be stupid. There's not a human alive who could dodge a bullet from this close. I see. Unfortunately for you, I'm not human. He already fucking said that. Like, are they fucking idiots? He said, like, I'm a vampire. It's my vampire name. I'm taking this back. Vampire, vampire, vampire. And they're like, no human could dodge that bullet. What part of vampire did you not fucking hear? Like, dummies. This is why Van Helsing was like, no, you can take him. I mean, seriously, the kid said vampire 14 times and they didn't get it, so I obviously, like, come on. The boy takes a fighting stance, and an instant later, all the men but one have fallen to the ground. No way! The last man collapses, and a profound silence fills the room. The boy turns to the audience, who should have all run out by now, by the way, from all the screaming and running around. They're just literally running in circles. There's a hatred in his eyes. Hatred so great, it feels suffocating just to witness. Fear me, humans. This is our anger and our pain. I will make a proclamation here and now. The vampire lineage will never forgive you. I promise the suffering and pain endured by our people will be equally shared by all of you. These words cause the panic in the audience to reach new heights, and the screams only get louder. He's like all proud. Look, he's adorable. Look, he's like, I'm all proud of myself. The child on stage watches and laughs, then disappears behind the curtains. Let's go. Where? That child. It's hard to tell what he'll do when left on his own. Probably won't be long before he starts attacking people. I could see it in his eyes. We need to stop him. Van Helsing begins running to the stage. Wait, Van Helsing! I try to follow him, but Lupin grabs me by the hand. Hold on, calm down. That little guy's too fast for us. We'll never catch up to him. And that's very unlike Van Helsing. He doesn't usually get that heated. I wonder what's gotten into him. Aren't we going after him? Don't worry. Even though he's got an attitude, he's one of us. We won't desert him. Let's get ahead of them. Let's go ahead of them and wait. Can we really get ahead of them? No, not with you, because you're going to pant and slow us down, Slowpoke. We don't even know which way they went. Leave it to me. Have faith in Arsène Lupin, first-class gentleman thief. Again, I think I said this the first time I recorded this when it got deleted, but I really just want to start going to work and referring to myself in the third person. Like, have faith in Spacey to get the job done. And everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? Because, like, who does that? He does this all the time. This is like Lupin's thing, like, have faith in Arsène Lupin, the gentleman thief. Arsène Lupin will save the day. Would you stop referring to yourself like you're not standing right there? Can you just say, I will take care of it? Please. It's charming and endearing when he does it, but it's a little fucking weird, right? It's strange. But I really think it's something we need to do, like, I'm gonna throw you under the trolley, and I, Spacey, am here to save the day. Because I do my job. Like, I just, start throwing that out. I'm just saying. Use it in everyday life, people. It's a thing now. Let's make it a thing. Lupin starts running, and we follow him out of the tent in a rush. We leave the auction venue behind. Soon we arrive at the nearby forest where we had met Van Helsing for the first time. Hey, Lupin! What makes you think they came this way? It's like you just ran off in a random direction. And they've got to be here. It seems that kid was working alone. No matter how strong you are, it's impossible to outrun a large organization like the London firm. He'll try to hide somewhere for sure, and this forest is the most accessible hiding place around. I've come here before, too. To hide? No, I don't hide. I see. You are thinking about it from the perspective of a criminal. Very impressive and worthy of a gentleman thief. Yep. Huh? I hear footsteps. They're close. We're almost on top of them. Lupin speeds up, and we do our best to keep up with him. My legs are sticking to my bouncy ball. We break through bushes into a clearing. The boy from before is standing there, dumbfounded. What's this? Did you follow me here? I'm surprised that there are humans capable of keeping up with me. Still, I'm not giving back the pendant, and I won't let you capture me either. We look at each other. If it belonged to your father, then we have no business trying to take it away from you. And it doesn't sit right with us to hand you over to the London firm. And why have you followed me? You don't want the pendant back, and you don't want to catch me. I don't see what the point was. We just wanted to see if we could. We'd like you to turn yourself in. Not to the London firm, of course. We know someone at the yard who can be trusted. You can explain the situation to him and be handled appropriately there. It's not your place to decide. Humans are all the same to me. Stand in my way and I won't hold back. Just as Van Helsing said, it's impossible to tell what he'll do. That expression of hatred, he might harm someone else later on. But from how he fought earlier, we don't stand a chance against him. Lupin, I have an idea. I take a step forward. Oh, we're supposed to persuade him, not capture him. So, persuade him. There's no way we're going to stop him if we try using force. That leaves only... Don't worry, we're not going to hurt you. We're on your side. I have very little reason to believe that, human. You're likely just after the reward. If you murder a human and taint your hands with blood, as you said you will, then we won't hesitate to capture you. However, if you're still undecided, I have a suggestion. Why don't you come back to my mansion for a nice cup of tea? You might be able to make a better decision once you've calmed down. My mind is already clear. I politely decline your offer. That's so nice. It's not like, fuck you, dude. He's like, I politely decline, and I'm gonna go murder someone. The boy shakes his head and takes a fighting stance. Suddenly, we hear footsteps from behind. I turn around to see Van Helsing. Oh, beautiful. You caught up! Van Helsing says nothing, glaring silently at the boy before us. You! It's been a while, son of the dragon. I left that name behind. I've taken the name of my father. I see. So do you want me to call you Delacroix II instead of Dracula? Do these two know each other? There's almost a sadness in Van Helsing's face right now. There's a sadness in his eyes as he's looking at Deli. Like, he's all pissed off and angry, but he's like, pissed off, but I'm sad at the same time. Like, oh. I'm about to ask when, in an instant, Delacroix slides in close to Van Helsing and swings a fist. Van Helsing blocks the punch with his gun. but the force of the impact causes him to jump back to avoid falling over. How dare you! You dare to show yourself in front of me? Have you no shame? Keep going this way and you'll fall to the darkness, just like me. You have no right to talk, Van Helsing! The attack is intense. The boy throws a storm of punches, too fast for the human eye, but Van Helsing calmly blocks them. I'll kill you, I swear it! Unfortunately, I can't die quite yet. Van Helsing swings his gun, but Delacroix jumps back to avoid the strike. The two glare at each other, and there's no room for anyone to intervene. But I found them over here! We hear the other bounty hunters closing in. They've finally caught up. Delacroix looks away for a moment. Van Helsing, Van Helsing, I'll wait for you at the place where you murdered my father. If you do not come, I will hunt you down and kill you, and every last person who is important to you. The same goes for the rest of you. Everyone. His eyes are full of murderous intent. When he glares at me, I can't help myself from taking a few steps backwards. Our paths have crossed for too long. We shall bring an end to this. With that, he disappears into the night before anyone can do anything to stop him. All that remains is the angry shouting of the men searching for him, and our own confusion. Several hours later, we return to the mansion. Delacroix disappeared into the forest without being captured. The auction organizers placed an even greater bounty on him, and the greedy hunters hooted and shouted in excitement. Once we came back to the mansion, Van Helsing announced that he needed some fresh air and went outside. It's already midnight, but nobody seems to want to retire to their own room yet. We're all just sitting in the same room together, just staring at each other. I'm sure we're all thinking the same thing. What did Van Helsing do in the past? Did he murder that boy's father? If so, why did he do such a thing? There's so many questions, but I can't quite tell if it's my place to ask him outright. Silence is finally broken by the Count. We must come to a decision. What? Confront him directly and urge him to change his mind, or make sure that he doesn't harm us in the future. The latter option is probably a genteel way of suggesting that we kill him. I assume as much, but can't bring myself to ask for clarification. That's easy for you to say, but he's just a kid, you know? Can't bring myself to fight him. Me too, and he seemed to have his reasons for doing what he did. You're right, but Delacroix came right out and said he would kill us. We need to think of something. Yeah. Either way, we can't just stand around and wait to be killed. Let's try finding his lair tomorrow. Lair? Do you mean the place the boy spoke of regarding his encounter with Van Helsing? I'm fine with heading over there, but where is it? Isn't Van Helsing the only one who would know? Yes, and this is Van Helsing's personal problem. Do you think he would willingly let us accompany him? That's entirely up to him. If he says no, then that's that. In any case, let's call it quits for today. Whatever we decide to do, we need to rest before we can do it. Lupin is the first to leave the room. Impey, Saint Germain, and Victor eventually all head up to their own rooms. As for me, for some reason, I don't want to go to bed just yet, so I remain in my chair. I wonder how long I've been sitting here. I sit in the quiet, deserted lounge with my eyes closed. I hear a noise and raise my head to see Victor standing at the open door. See, this is the part that would have been cute if it was a different, if it was depending on the path that you're on. So if you were heading down Van Helsing's path, it would be Van Helsing. If you're heading down, you know what I mean? Although it would be weird for Van Helsing to show up in the room and then you go outside and talk to him. But I couldn't remember what part this was in, but anyway. Hey, you're up pretty late. Aren't you going to bed? So many thoughts keep coming up in my mind, so I can't sleep. What about you? It's the same for me. I was thinking about Van Helsing and that kid. Delacroix? Yes, I looked into all the incidents he's caused up until now. Every object he's targeted was originally part of the royal vampire family's fortune. What? That means he wasn't stealing. He was taking back the stolen vampire fortune and the mementos of his people. Stand aside, fools! I'm here to reclaim that which is rightfully mine. Is that true? Van Helsing probably... I'm sure he knows what's going on. There's nobody who knows about the extermination of the vampires better than him. Victor, do you know Van Helsing well? No, only what's on the surface. He was a hero in the Vampire War 2 years ago. It said that his actions brought the Vampire War to an end quickly, and the army only suffered a few losses. He raided the lair of the vampires who were threatening humanity, and killed the Vampire King, Delacroix, along with his entire clan. That pretty much ended the war, aside from hunting down stragglers. Was all that necessary? Victor slowly shakes his head. We were all told that vampires were trying to wipe out humanity. I don't know for myself how much of that is actually true. I can say one thing for sure. War is nothing but formalized murder. It has no justice. I notice that Victor's hands are clenched tightly into fists because his poison was used to kill a bunch of people and he feels guilty and sad too. Oh, poor little Victor. He's too innocent for that. Victor, what's the matter? It's just that I was a royal alchemist, understand? The war feels very personal to me. Victor's tone makes me feel like he's avoiding the truth. But I don't think Van Helsing is so cold that he can so casually kill someone. And I think that those heroic actions he's been praised for are far from the truth. Yes, I think so too. Sorry for keeping you so long. I'm going up to bed now. You should do the same. Thanks. Victor smiles and gives me a little wave as he leaves. I still can't sleep, though, and so I head outside the mansion. I only have one reason for doing so. I saw Van Helsing through the window and couldn't help but come out after him. I wonder where he went. I know I saw him right here. I feel that if I can see him, the thoughts that stir up my emotions, like Van Helsing's past and Delacroix II's hateful gaze, will somehow be soothed. Oh, I find him. He doesn't seem to be doing anything, just standing there deep in thought. I'm about to call out to him, but then I see what a somehow sorrowful state he's in, and I hesitate. Oh, it's you. What are you doing at this time of night? Van Helsing notices me before I can make up my mind to speak. I was... We ask. Man, Lupin wanted us to be all defensive with Victor. Like, no, gotta remain defensive with Victor, but we're supposed to be all nice and wonderful with Van Helsing. So he can steal us away? Lovely. I want to ask you something personal. I can't stop thinking about it. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. That boy, Delacroix II, did you kill his father? Van Helsing falls silent for a while. For some reason, the silence begins to frighten me. Yes, that's true. I killed him. I don't know Van Helsing very well, but that simple admission eloquently conveyed the immense weight he bears on his chest. I see. It's the undeniable truth. I took that boy's father away from him. His words are stern, distant. He's telling me the complete, unabridged truth, but he doesn't look my way at all. It almost feels like he's telling me that I have no business asking this about him. It's late. Go to bed and rest up. He turns back to the mansion as he says this. I can't respond to him at all and merely watch him as he walks away. When I enter my room, Spacey comes up to me, wagging his tail. Oh, I'm sorry, Spacey. That's right, we always sleep together. Were you worried about me? Everything's fine. Let's go to bed. Spacey hops up onto the bed and curls up. I feel the weight of his small body by my feet and close my eyes. Van Helsing, Delacroix II, my father, and me. I think about all kinds of things, but the conclusion I ultimately arrive at is simply everyone probably lives under the burden of all the different events in their pasts. What burden am I carrying? It's with this thought that I gradually fall asleep. The next day, I was like, are we going to keep going? Okay. The train slowly leaves the station. We're headed for the place where Delacroix II is waiting for us. According to Van Helsing, it's far to the north of London, all the way in Scotland. It's at least one whole day's journey away. In the end, we all decided that we would travel there together. Van Helsing had no objection to our request to accompany him. Van Helsing and Delacroix II, do they mean to continue fighting until one of them falls? One having lost his family, and the other having taken it away. Even if this is the path they've chosen for themselves, all I can think about is whether there's a way to avoid Van Helsing's death. And the death of Delacroix II. The weather doesn't look very good. It appears we might be in for some rain. I look outside the window. Ominous gray clouds cover the sky. It feels like a foreshadowing of the events to come, and I avert my eyes from them. From that point until we arrive, no one says much, and we spend our time either looking out the window or reading. The boy's father died during the Vampire War. He says Van Helsing killed him. Something wrong. Without realizing it, I had been staring at Van Helsing. Yes, you're beautiful. What? Oh, yes. It seems like you haven't slept much, so I was wondering if you're all right. See, I'm fine. You should follow the example of the others and get some rest. With those few words, the conversation comes to an end. I wonder what he's thinking right now. What are you thinking? Thinking about me? He is. He's thinking about how much he loves us. They all love us. Man harem. We are all deep within a forest. We arrive at the right station at dawn, but there's still a long journey ahead. It's already sunset. The sun is going to set soon. Are we almost at the place you're heading for? Just a little further. We walk through the woods in silence. Van Helsing, silence. But I don't back down and keep talking. What are you going to do to that boy? If the only options are to kill or be killed, what did he come here to do? He came here to be killed, that's so sad. Who can say? He doesn't give a clear answer and starts walking even faster. We walk for 2 more hours. The scenery suddenly opens up around us, and the trees are replaced by a tall building. Whoa, this is pretty amazing. Wow, it's a huge mansion. It looks old. The history of the vampire race is long, and they have lived in a number of regions. This is most likely one of their bases. I don't know how to put it. It's huge and amazing, but it has a melancholy feeling about it. Now that he mentions it, the castle does have a certain sadness. That's because everybody that used to live there is dead. Is that boy waiting for us all by himself in that mansion that used to stand with such dignity in the past? Let's go. Van Helsing sets off, and we follow. Our footsteps echo in the hall. While the interior is in disrepair, it's not as bad as the decrepit exterior. It's hard to believe how run down this place is. Impey says this in a soft voice, sounding sadder than I expected. Again, because he's thinking about the vampire war and that these were his people. Aww, that's so heartbreaking. I turn around. Impey, have you been here before? Nope, I've never been here, but there's just something about it. Well, but you wonder if he might have actually ever been there, but still, I mean, you know. Impey, You were questioning why Delacroix II was so strong. Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess. I mean, he's a vampire, but he's just a kid. Anyone would think it's strange. I'll clear it up for you. Delacroix II is a pureblood. Pureblood? The vampire race were very reclusive. Ugh. The vampire race were very reclusive, but humans, after all, are the ones who determine the state of the world. Because vampires are so similar in nature to them, they could not remain completely detached from human society. As time passed, a group of vampires deepened their relationships with humans, and their blood began to mix. Ah! Muggles! They mixed with muggles! I see. I suppose love knows no boundaries, even species. Call it whatever you like. I mean, essentially, come on. I mean, they're a different type of human, but it's still like breeds of dog. They're just different breeds of human. Okay, vampires aren't human, but different breeds of people. I don't know. As the relations with humans grew stronger, those who were against it became a minority within the overall population. There were those who simply detested humans or cited vampiric pride. The reasons varied, but all of them possessed the incredible physical abilities that vampires originally had. I see. So the reason the kid is so strong is because he has no human blood in him. Which means that might was probably the norm in the past. Vampires used to be a source of fear for humans. I can see why. But ultimately, most of those who chose not to mingle with humans naturally disappeared. Source of fear, huh? Van Helsing continues speaking as he walks. He's close. He'll be at the place where I murdered the vampire king, Delacroix. We suddenly enter an open space, a large room the size of a great hall. I see wide, luxurious staircases and elaborate chandeliers. Although everything looks worn out now, their presence speaks of the past splendor of this mansion. And then... I've been waiting for you, Van Helsing. Standing at the center of the stairs is the pure-blooded vampire. As if he'd been waiting this whole time. I shall have your head in this place where my father spent his last moments. We all tense up at these hateful words. However, without hesitation, Van Helsing steps forward without even drawing his guns. Van Helsing! Stand back and watch. Whoa! Whoa, are you sure you don't need our help? This is my problem to deal with. You can all stay back here. But he lets us come with him because he loves us all. We're his friends. Oh, you came with the retinue, but don't seek their help? I don't care if you all attack me at once. It's just a matter of having more dead bodies to clean up afterward. You sure enjoy talking, Delacroix. Do you fear me? Why don't you go ahead and kill me if you hit... Oh, whoops, I was... Whoop! Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Back up the trolley. Ding, ding, ding. Back up the trolley. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and kill me if you hate me that much? That is, if you can. In the tense atmosphere, the air around the boy seems to swirl. Very well. He brushes his cape back and raises his fists. Don't think I'm the same as before. I've been training endlessly for the sole purpose of ending your life. My father's regret, my mother's misery, and my people's anger will all be avenged here and now. Look how sad he looks! Here I come, Van Helsing! Deli looks so mad, and Van Helsing looks so sad. His speed enables him to close the 10 steps between them in an instant. Oh my god, I would love to be this close to Van Helsing. Look how fucking perfect he is up close. He's just perfect as he is far away, I mean, but seriously. As we expected, Delacroix II's physical abilities are extraordinary. Do you take me for a fool? You don't even have your guns out! Van Helsing takes every one of the boy's punches without so much as a change in his expression. What's the matter? Aren't you going to fight back? You! How far must your mockery go? Van Helsing brushes aside an unending stream of punches and kicks, doing nothing but fighting defensively. But how is Van Helsing able to block these attacks so easily? Hidden strength. From what I saw at the auction, the child's fists hold a tremendous amount of power. Is it really possible to take this many blows, even though they may not all be direct hits? He isn't taking the force of his foe's attacks head on. The Count speaks out as if reading my mind. The hits aren't hitting him directly, and he's able to skillfully avert them in different directions to lessen the impact. But that method of fighting is probably something only Van Helsing can do. No normal person would be able to react to Delacroix's attacks in this way. His reputation as the human weapon is earned. Does that mean both of them are superhuman beings above the range of what's considered normal? I mean, pretty much all of us, if you think about it. Like, except for Victor, he's probably the only fucking normal one. And maybe Lupin. We don't know. I mean, Impey's a vampire, so we got that. You know, fucking Van Helsing was injected with hidden strength, which makes him super strong. We're a homunculus. And fucking Saint Germain over there is like some like immortal god being thing. So like Stabby, immortal Stabby god being. You know? So like basically Victor, and Lupin are like the only normies. Victor most likely the only normie. I mean, he's super brainy, but like he can barely run without panting to death. Lupin has got like some really good speed, so there could be something weird in his, you know, who knows? He might not be fully human. He might be. I mean, obviously in the books he is. He's just a normal man, like a man thief, but like, who knows? But like, yeah. Poor Victor. That's why you had to make a monster, because you're like, I had to make a Frankenstein monster because I'm so boring and normal. Oh, poor Victor. It's like, he's really the only normal one. I mean, I suddenly recall my past of being called a monster and being hated. For some reason, this scene before me of two people fighting for their lives looks sad to me. Are you sure he doesn't need help? There's probably no need. But we're not going to abandon him. Just, it's not what Van Helsing wants, and I'm sure he has some sort of plan. If we think he's in dire danger, we'll go in and help, and we won't take no for an answer. Until then, we should stay out. Just like Van Helsing says, this is probably something that he needs to tackle on his own. Something he has to do himself. Don't worry, Van Helsing is strong, and I believe he has a good heart. He'll figure out a way. Okay. I nod hesitantly at Victor's points. As we watch the fighting progress, it all changes suddenly. Gah! Van Helsing sinks his fist into the boy's abdomen. Van Helsing wastes no opportunity when his opponent loses his balance and delivers a blow to Delacroix's head with his elbow. The boy jumps back in defense. However, by that time, Van Helsing has his two shotguns out and already pointed at Delacroix. Ugh. God. Oh, I feel bad for him. You're like, oh, poor little Delacroix now that we know him, you know. Look at how pretty Van Helsing is, though. God. Move and I'll shoot. The tables have completely turned from his defensive fighting earlier. The hunter and the hunted. A tense silence fills the space between them. So, I can easily avoid anything you try to shoot at me. Would you like to try it? If you do, it will cost you your life. You yourself should already understand. You're far weaker than your late father. You cannot defeat me. Then shoot! I only seek your surrender. I had no intention of harming you from the start. What is the meaning of this? You would show me mercy now that it's far too late? I'm warning you, don't move. Then why didn't you show us this mercy 2 years ago? I don't want to shoot you. If it wasn't for you, Mother and Father would still be alive. The boy leaps forward. I gulp at the dull boom of the gunshot. Delacroix is rolling on the floor as if he'd been thrown back. Rock salt, of course it is. I warned you. Not a single drop of blood stains his clothes. Instead, there are white shards. I immediately realize what they are. Rock salt. Van Helsing had had no intention of killing the boy from the very beginning. I'll kill you! Even after being shot, Delacroix stands up. Van Helsing fires another shotgun blast, and the vampire falls to the ground. I will destroy you and everything you hold dear! Even then, Delacroix tries to stand up once again. Ah! Delacroix screams as the gunshots continue. Stay down. I will get my revenge, no matter what. I will never forgive you for betraying my parents' kindness. His body is blown away like an old rag and rolls across the floor. Van Helsing? That's enough, Van Helsing! It seems like Delacroix has finally lost the strength to withstand more gunshots and has stopped moving. His face is twisted in pain. Should be clear that you're no match for me, Delacroix II. There's no way you can defeat me with your capabilities. And stop stealing treasures. Humans can be more cruel than you can imagine. If you don't stay on your toes, you're going to be consumed someday. Give up trying to take your revenge out on the entire human race. I will never forgive you, Van Helsing. Not you. Not ever. Yes, I'm the only one deserving your ire. Van Helsing stands and looks down at the boy for a long time. But you can't kill me just yet. There's still something that I must do. But once it's all over, I'd gladly give myself to you to be killed. I deserve as much. Van Helsing? Delacroix II, my death must put an end to your quest for revenge. Don't turn your hate on anyone else. Delacroix slowly rises to his knees, shaking. He apparently has no more strength to resist, and Van Helsing lowers his guns. What is the meaning of this? Are you trying to atone for your crime? I will not let it happen. You can't hold out a helping hand and pretend that you're good. But he is good. He didn't want to do it, and they tricked him, and oh, poor Van Helsing. Just kill me. I can never face mother and father knowing that I accepted your sympathy. I don't need to kill you. Kill me. Kill me. No. The boy crumples to the ground. For a while, his crying is the only thing to break the silence within the hall. Spacey's not going to fake crying. Outside, thunder roars in the distance, dully echoing through the house. I don't know the truth behind the war 2 years ago, or what war is really like. I only have knowledge from books I've read. I don't understand war very well. But to me, Delacroix II and Van Helsing both look like victims carrying the weight of their sadness from those events, and that's usually what it is. You have two sides fighting for something they believe in, and both of them are kind of right and both of them are kind of wrong. Sometimes both sides are completely wrong, and sometimes both sides are... Usually they're both completely fucking wrong. But, you know. But the thing is in this case, the vampires were just living their life, and then the humans were like, you know what? Let's just fucking kill him. And they go, yeah, that sounds great. And turned it into something that it shouldn't have been. And that's usually what happens. Like, you know what? I don't like those vampires. They look shady. Let's just make everyone think that they're evil, and then we can kill them, and it'll be okay. Shady fuck. Shady. It's, men are usually the ones who go to work because they're stupid. Men are stupid. Fucking idiots. A huge mansion has gone to ruin. He was probably living here all alone for the past 2 years. Aw. Just like I had been in Wales. No, his pain is far greater than mine. A hatred that he can't do anything about, and an anger that burns through him. His suffering must have been immense. I speak hesitantly. Do you think we could possibly bring him back with us?
Him? You mean Delacroix?
What? Spacey? Wouldn't you say that's impossible? Kid's been saying he wants to kill us. Never even crossed my mind as an option. Gotta say, I'm against it.
I can't agree to it either. His presence puts us all at too much of a risk to be acceptable. As I expected, everyone disagrees. I could tell that Delacroix, leaning on the staircase to support himself, was quietly looking at me. Spacey, why would you want to do that? You must have a reason.
Yeah, I just felt like it. Eccentric billionaire. Oh wait, no, that's St. G's stick.
Now that Lupin's asked, I start to explain my reasons, little by little. I think it must be very lonely for him to stay here all by himself. I think that's very sad. At first I didn't realize it, because being alone seemed so natural to me. But now that I look back, the years I was alone were a very painful and trying time in my life. I try to explain myself, but the words just aren't coming out, and I get frustrated. I think there are a lot of things he won't see or understand, not as long as he remains here. That's why I want you to come with us. I think things will start to look different to you with a change of scenery. Does that sound crazy?
Spacey? Yes, certainly does sound outlandish.
Delacroix suddenly starts talking.
Why are you so desperate to help me? You don't even know me, so why should you say things like this as if you cared?
His gaze is sharp, searching for answers. I look directly back at him, staring into his eyes. My life has not been as difficult as yours, but I know a little bit about loneliness. That's why I want to try and do something about that. Even though it's a dangerous situation, I also know the pain of losing parents. He remains silent for a long time.
So you presume to know how I feel, and now you're trying to save me? Your opinions are worthless.
I'm sorry. Delacroix takes a breath, then looks around the hall before turning to me again.
This place is the mausoleum of my people, my family. The tomb needs a keeper. I cannot leave this place behind.
Isn't revenge your only desire? Van Helsing suddenly speaks up. Then for the sake of those who rest here, you must keep an eye on me. So that when all is said and done, I won't just change my mind and take off. Kill me someday, then you can return here, with that act as your memorial to them.
That's so cute! Van Helsing is like, you should keep an eye on me, right? Because I'm shady and I could totally run off.
Aww! He's like trying to convince Deli to come to appease me. Oh, that's so cute, sweetie! You're gonna give up your life? Aww. That's how much he loves us! He's like, oh wait, my girl wants... The vampire kid wants Deli to hang out with us, so I'm gonna just be like, well, I might be shady and run away, so you should probably keep an eye on me, right? So, make her happy, then I just got you to come along, so she gonna be happy with me, and then I'm gonna, sacrifice myself. Wait, shit, I didn't think this through.
Can I trust you, Van Helsing?
Yes, I don't believe that something as small as this would atone for my crime. But right now, that's as much as I can offer you. Van Helsing falls silent. Delacroix doesn't say anything either and simply stares at him. There's a long silence. Finally, in a soft voice,
Fine, I will come with you.
I love it.
I do not like you people, but he loves the dog. It's so fucking adorable.
Elsewhere, Finnis stares up at the ceiling of St. Paul's Cathedral. The moonlight is tinted by the stained glass windows, spraying colored light across the floor. He can't help but smile. The magnificence and beauty that his father Isaac Beckford so loved brings him peace of mind. When he is here, in this place, he feels like he is communing with his father. I wonder if we're going to find out who Isaac really is. You know what I mean? He hears footsteps from behind.
Hey, young came out of nowhere.
And turns around to find Alistair.
Finnis, it seems there is a report concerning the location of what you've been searching for.
I see. It took them quite a while this time. After the train incident and all, I'm starting to think Twilight is understaffed.
You can be sarcastic if you wish, but that won't get you any results.
Sarcasm. Come now, Alistair. I trust you. You make an amazing lackey.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
So where are they?
Reports say somewhere in London, which means that they pretty much don't have a clue where they are.
You call that a report? I take back what I said about you being an amazing subordinate.
Say what you like. Granted, they have a master escape artist on their side, but it seems something more is opposing us.
Ah ha ha ha, it's Omnibus. Something more is opposing us. See, this is so much fun. Rereading this is so great because you catch all these. Oh my god, I know I say this in every part, but it so impresses me every single time that we're like, oh, something more is opposing us. Yes, Omnibus is like, you bitches don't get her. Because if you think about it, right? Omnibus and whatever the hell his group was, right? Idea. They want to stab me. They want me dead, right? But they don't want me in Twilight's hands because Twilight wants to use me as like a bomb and kill people. And they're like, no, you're not going to get this. We going to stab her before you get this. So, of course, Omnibus would be waiting for Saint Germain to get stabby, right? They're like, oh my god, stab her already. But until then, they are putting up blocks to stop Twilight from finding us. Like, they're I mean, as much as they can, right? You know, like, Omnibus could totally shield us 100%, but that would just ruin the whole story. So obviously they're trying to block Twilight as much as they can so that Saint Germain can get time to get stabby with it and kill us. So it's kind of like, but you wouldn't even have thought of that. You're just like, okay, something more is opposing us. Whatever, you're being crazy. And it just falls off and you don't even think about it. Amazing. Because you can't go down all the paths at once, you know what I mean? Like, so if you went down Saint Germain's path, you might be like, oh. But I feel like you wouldn't even, like, I wouldn't have remembered this going down Victor's path. Like, I wouldn't have remembered this conversation because there's so much going on in the story that you forget little tidbits like that, the little things. But after playing all the paths and going through, you're like, oh, that's why Impey looks so sad there. Oh, Omnibus, right? And it's like, it's fucking amazing. It's really great. Like, the little things that seem insignificant that you wouldn't notice until you've gone down all the paths. But, like, there's little bits that pop out. So, like, let's say you paid attention, you had a perfect memory, you had an eidetic memory, right? And you remembered all of this. You go down Saint Germain's path, and then you're going to be like, oh my god, oh, that's what they were talking about. Oh, okay. You go down Impey's path, and you're like, that's why he looked so sad in that scene. You know what I mean? Like, there's little things that just keep... Oh, I just love it so much. I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling. I can't. I'm so fucking impressed. But Alistair strokes his beard and takes a deep breath before continuing.
We're doing our best to find them. Don't be so hard on us.
I don't need excuses. I need you to pull out all the stops in your search. We're at the final preparations for our plan.
As you wish. I must excuse myself. I have an early lecture at the university tomorrow.
Oh, Alistair? There's one more thing I need to ask you. Alistair, who's already turned to walk away, stops and looks back.
What is it?
Back on the train, you intentionally let Van Helsing live, didn't you? You could have killed him if you wanted. Why didn't you? Was it because he was your apprentice when you were a member of Twilight? I didn't think that a genius like you would let a potential source of future trouble off the hook in that situation.
Well, I didn't think you thought so highly of me. The reason, though, is quite simple. I was taken aback by that ball of fireworks. When I looked back, he was already gone. That's all there is to it.
Oh, really?
Is my explanation unsatisfying?
Fine, if you say so. I must say, it's a bit of a relief to find out that you're not completely heartless. But remember this, I rarely give out second chances, and I never give out thirds.
Right. I'll make sure not to forget that.
He's like, I'm gonna stab you, bitch.
Yeah, because he's gonna, you know what I mean? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna kill you because Van Helsing is my weapon. Well, everybody's got sinister fucking motives. I love it how all the little paths intertwine to, like, all crazy bitches. Alistair bows slightly, then melts into the darkness and disappears. He's in a good mood, so much so that he doesn't even mind Alistair's blunder. Soon he can see his sister and become one with her. That is creepy as fuck. That was his father's very wish. He will carry out his father's will. That's probably what we're going to do going down in... Because we never deal with Finis, right? I mean, Finis does come back in Van Helsing's path, but then, like, Alistair kills him, and right? Doesn't he? But, like, he never shows up again in Saint Germain's path. He never shows up in Impey's path. He doesn't really show up in Victor's, because that's all about the Queen using us as a poison, right? So I have a feeling that, like, the whole Finis thing and, like, this becoming one with a... Creepy. Is gonna come up in Lupin's path. Like, this is, like, what does Finis actually want with us? What was Isaac's plan? I mean, this terrorist plot, and then, like, when we go down Victor's, it kind of seems like that's the terrorist plot, like the Queen killing everybody to make it look like this. But there's obviously something else going on. Because if you think about it, like, that's why Omnibus is trying to have us killed and, like, whatnot. So, yeah, interesting. Anyway, watch me, father. His laughter echoes eerily throughout the acoustics of the cathedral. Creepy. Creepy McCreepy. Oh my god. Okay, so... Alright, so this part's a little bit shorter than the other ones because this is perfect. I kind of want to get... This is kind of what I want. I want to be able to do, say, each chapter in a part. Which we haven't really been able to do because, like, the prologue kind of took up some space and we're usually running over. Like, each part's usually 20 minutes into the next. But with the rambling I did in the last two parts, it's kind of pushed us. So hopefully in the next part we can get through all of chapter 6, which I think is the yeah, that's this is Victor's chapter. So I'm really hoping we can get through all of chapter 6 in the next part, and then, you know, chapter 7 and chapter 8. And then when we get into Lupin's path, we're going to keep it an hour, but we'll see what happens. And again, we'll see what happens because we could be going and maybe we're at an hour and it's like, oh, chapter 6 is still going, almost stop. You know, I don't want it to be like too much more than an hour. We usually go like, what, an hour and a few minutes? We're usually under an hour and 5 minutes, which is perfect. I don't want it to go too long. So we'll see what happens next time with chapter 6. So this one's going to be a little bit short just because I want to see if we can keep the chapters, you know, each chapter per part. Now that we've hit a good spot, we'll see what happens. One other thing, because I mentioned this in the part that I had recorded that got deleted. So I'm going to say it again before I forget, because I'll think that I said it, but you guys didn't see it because it didn't actually record. But what I want to do, and I don't think I said it in a prior part. I know I said it in the part that got deleted, but I was like, I don't know if I was just thinking it or I said it to you guys. So if I've said it before, sorry. Oops. But at the very end when we're done, I want to go back through just the little I want to do a whole part after we're done and go back through just the little hidden scenes that we got, those little special scenes with the fun CGI, the you know, fan service kind of CGs. And I want to actually turn on the voice acting because I want to hear the Japanese voices. I want to hear the voices of the characters. So I want to do that, and I figure that's the best way to do it because we'll get to hear. I don't think our character has a voice, but we'll get to hear all the other voices. So we get to hear all the guys in their paths, and I think it'd just be kind of interesting because I just want to see, after I've done the voices for them, what the voice actors actually sound like. So I'm really curious. So I want to do that, and I think it'd be a fun way just to go through and do all the little fun CG, well, you know, little end clips with all the fun CGs at the end. So we'll go in the same order we did it. We'll do Victor's, then Van Helsing's, then Impey, Saint Germain, and Lupin's last, because we'll have obviously already just seen Lupin's, but
We'll do them all again just to hear the voices and see what they sound like. And I'm also kind of curious. I would love to pop into this chapter and just hear Deli's voice. Because I don't think we're going to get Deli or Alistair, Finnis, or Herlock in those. So we might find a scene. So maybe we'll go to the train scene when Lupin's fighting with Herlock and just pop in there and just see what his voice sounds like, and maybe come into this just to hear Deli and Finnis and everything and Alistair. Because I just want to hear their voices. I'm just so fucking curious. Just to see what they sound like. So, but yeah. Anyway, I am going to wrap this part up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.